Good morning and welcome to ISO Prosperity Sisterhood. I'm so glad you ladies are here with me today. This morning, we are coming out of a couple weeks and I'm kind of snowballing the workshops that we went through and taking some pieces out, expanding on them so that you can find that answer or that energy within these little aspects as those come up, because I like to. So today I'm talking about scripts, and I like using that word because it sometimes ignites some questionable things or some negativity within our experiences that bring that forward, and they're like, ew, I don't like scripts. Well, I'm here to tell you scripts are here for you and not necessarily your clients and the people around you. They can be just for your mindset, just to keep you on track and move you from one emotion to another, or one task to another, or one interaction to the next. Scripts don't always have to be copy and paste the way we think about them when we think, oh, just send them that script, right? It's not always copy and paste. It might just be the few bullet points that get you through a sales presentation. When we also use scripts to, like I'd mentioned, moving from one emotion to another. Okay. Using that as that practice to shift your energy, to shift your emotions into that next thing. So sometimes you're going along, bebopping, you're having a great day, right? And then that weird question pops up, or that issue came up with your website. Someone else is just having a bad day. Someone passes you in a no passing zone. I mean, whatever those things are, right? We can use a script to get us into that next step, into that next frame of mind that we need to be and show up with. So I've had a lot of experience with thank you cards. And sometimes you had a great day and you had on your list to send a thank you card to Kathy. I'm going to use her here this morning. And yet you're not in that mindset, right? And so sitting down and reading a card that you had sent in the past, or that thank you script that gets you in that mind of what or how, or that just in general, you're thankful. So now I feel more capable to write that thank you note, to send that email, to respond to that text message. One thing I don't know why this is coming up. One thing I'm actually practicing is, as a salesperson, as the talker and all the things, one thing I'm practicing is not needing to have the last word. That, I don't know. I'm just sharing that with you ladies. We might bring that into our discussion. But just, yeah, that's something I'm practicing. I go back and kind of read what we've said to each other so far, and I'm like, I really don't need to have the last word in this conversation. And so that's something I have been practicing probably for about 6 weeks. So just know, like, nobody's perfect. But scripts are there to help you know what's next. They can be there to walk you through an issue that you're having with a client, or a client is having with you, right? Or your product. When it comes to your sales presentation, or just conversation as you're prospecting, working through objections. Do you have a script for that? That at least gets you in that mindset of, instead of saying, oh man, they're going to start saying no to me, to, oh yeah, this question comes up all the time, right? Like we can either stay in the fear of lack or we can push through to the actual answer through the conversation instead of blocking the conversation with what you have in your mind. And then also using scripts to move the next step, to make action steps. And this might just even be a couple trigger words that help you say, oh, yeah, I need to ask that question. Or I can't forget to note this in our conversation. But having those couple things in front of you, your client never needs to see that. The person you're working with or for or whatever doesn't need to see that. But it helps you set your mind and leads to a better conversation in general. So when we write a script, we are we're just kind of I'm sorry, I'm getting this pop-up. No, leave me alone. Okay. When we write a script, we are setting the stage for our authority and our ability to say yes or no to something. Sometimes it's really hard to discern. And so creating a script in your words, in your language, all the things that feels good. When you read that, you either are like, oh, that's exactly what I want to say, or you read that and say, yeah, that is why I'm saying yes or no to this thing. So sometimes affirmations or your goals and dreams speak into these scripts. But I just want to remind you, ladies, of that authority that you have in conversation that you can stand on, that boundaries are established in and through. So I wrote a couple bullet points for you ladies as you're writing scripts. Lead with gratitude, compassion, and authority, because you are the authority in your field. In that conversation, you are in charge. A couple areas that we might keep scripts for are questions that you always get, issues that sometimes pop up, objections, invitations that you're always sending, or introductions that you're sending. One thing I keep and catalog for future use are quick bios. Usually, now, in my defense, over the last few years, my focus has shifted. Life happens, right? Your business, maybe ideal client has shifted. Mine has stayed pretty true, but how we express it might change, right? So I do have a few bios that are kind of diverse that I have saved over the time where I've been requested, hey, I'm interviewing you for this podcast. Can you send me a quick bio? Was my most recent request. And so I went through my existing bios that I had saved in Trello. That's where I like to use and save things. In there, I just kind of pulled up a new page and I said, okay, I like this and this piece, and I still use that word, and I created a new bio. It had been over a year since I'd created a bio. So it was nice to create one. But keeping those, cataloging those. Thank you cards, I mentioned, because having a script for a thank you card when maybe you're just not having a very thankful day, but you need to check this off your list. It's good to just have a script or an example of one that you've sent in the past, right? That has been well received. And just having it saved and set aside. And last but not least, your sales meetings. Having those bullet points. I have a couple scripts I saved on my phone, which I have right here. So I'm going to share that with you. So an example of a sales meeting script, or something that you kind of maybe rehearse before you go in, or scan through, or have the bullet point that triggers that message in your head. This example is you're in that sales meeting and you say, usually clients at this stage do fill in the blank. Would that make sense for us to do? And because you are the authority in your field and what you do, they're probably going to say yes, but they can totally say no. And then when you get down about having heard the word no, go back to some affirmations, because you're going to hear the word no. So being able to go back to an affirmation and using it as that script to rewrite the script in your head, that instead of saying, this sucks, I'm defeated, whatever it is, you're reminded of who you are and what you do through an affirmation, whatever that might be. Okay. I had a couple other examples I wanted to share with you ladies. When it came to objections, and just starting out with these couple words might even just trigger you into, it's going to be okay, and finish the response, right? So this for objections is, that's actually a very common concern. And then inserting the industry explanation as to why you do something the way you do, or something the way it is. And then the other I had listed was responding to an issue. And I had mentioned to lead with gratitude. So this combines those. And that is, thank you for bringing that to my attention. That always feels good when you receive that or you send that. And then tell them what the next step is, whether it's on them or on you. But so having these saved, that's my shtick today. Save them somewhere. Preferably somewhere searchable. We're in the mobile era, so on your computer and on your phone, having it in both places in the same system. Using text or keyboard shortcuts for quick links and responses and things like that. But when we talk about scripts, I just want you ladies to remember that they're there to just get you in the mood. It's not something, usually it's not always just copy and paste. But if it is, cool. You have a script for that and you don't have to think about it and you can go about your day. Instead of spending the half an hour you spent to initially write it or search back to the last person that asked, Just save it in one place. So, so with that, we're going to go into our discussion today. And I'm curious how scripts have helped you or could help you. Are you stuck on scripts? Do you hate scripts? Do you love scripts? I'm curious. Where where's your relationship with scripts? And if you're here on the replay, shoot us a message, drop something in the chat, in the comments, wherever you might see this. And with that, I'm going into our group discussion. Thank you so much. See you soon.